Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting, and today we are going to be talking about this. 1 second. What on earth is Huel? Now, this is a powder, I suppose an oat-based meal replacement powder. There, I'm back in shot sensibly now. And it's something that I thought was a rather curious idea and a rather curious concept. My friend had mentioned it to me and I'd seen it advertised about, and I looked into it and I thought, you know what? This is the sort of thing that I want to spend my my annual bonus from work on. So basically, I'm just going to say at this point in the video, for my regular subscribers, don't worry, I'm not going to become some sort of extreme evangelical fitness fanatic. And to everybody, this definitely isn't a sponsored video or anything of that nature. This is all bought off from my own money and all the rest of it. And also, very importantly, don't take anything I say in this video as correct, as any sort of advice or any sort of information that you should base any decisions on. I know absolutely nothing about diets and that sort of thing, so just have a look on their website and see what you think. Don't take this as any sort of real advice. So let's get into this. I'm going to throw a few video clips of the unboxing and showing you a close-up of it and making it up into the actual shakes and stuff. And, well, let's dive in. Now, this is something that I was interested in on a personal level because of the idea of it being like that sort of, the intention is, and the theory is, that you could eat nothing but this stuff and it would give you 100% of all the good stuff that you're meant to have in a day. Now, to me, my diet's always been a little bit odd because I've been a vegetarian for a long time, like 20 years or so. And so that always sort of gives you like slight issues in terms of being like, oh, am I getting enough protein, that sort of stuff. But when I say that, it sounds as if I've really spent my life caring about that sort of thing, which is just not the case. Instead, I have had one of the worst diets over the years, which over recent years has got better and better and better, until the point now where I would say, even before this stuff, I was actually probably on a much healthier diet than a lot of people. And even minus the meat. So basically, I have in the past eaten an awful lot of chocolate bars and sugary drinks and topped it all off with a regular takeaway pizza. And as I've sort of got away from all that, I found it more and more difficult to replace all this nonsense that I used to be eating all the time with other stuff. And I find that in the daytime I'll really just snack and eat bits and pieces and eat cereal bars which themselves are full of sugar and all that sort of stuff, and then have something proper, like a big thing, not necessarily big, but something proper in the evenings. So what I liked the idea of this is, firstly, I wanted to just try going for a full week on nothing but Huel, and I've got to say, my initial impressions now are that my first tasting of this thing was enough to really shock me into thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this up for long, yet alone eat nothing but this for a week. But after a couple of attempts, I'll describe it as, I've got to be honest, my body's got really used to it, and I've really got used to the flavour, to the point where I found that just the plain vanilla stuff has actually tasted what I would describe as, at moments, as good as nice. But my initial thing on tasting this stuff was to immediately go and buy some of the flavour sample packets that they do, because you can get different bags of stuff that goes in to flavour it as banana or chocolate, all the usual sort of stuff, and a few out there type flavours I would describe them as. So that's my initial thought on the actual taste of it. Then I realised really that, hang on, if I put this in the fridge, it's probably going to be more like a milkshake type feeling and taste, being nice and chilly and nice and cold. And that definitely helped with like the palatableness of this thing. And beyond that, I would say my other real sort of takeaway from this, and the thing that's really sort of surprised me, is that once I discovered to just oh man, I'm not getting my words out in this video very well at all, my apologies. What I really discovered was that blending this stuff, rather than trying to put it in the shaker and shake it by hand, is infinitely better and can make it like a really perfect, smooth sort of overall consistency. And that definitely helped when it came to drinking it and not suddenly getting a big lump of the stuff that's all got like the dried inner part of it. And of course, me not being somebody who's ever been into like health and fitness in terms of the dietary side of things. I mean, I live a very active life even now. But not being used to protein shakes or anything of this nature at all, it was a total shock to my system. So I would say definitely give it a try. Definitely try it with cold water or put it in the fridge for a while and see how you get on if you're initially balking at the taste and the flavour of this stuff. I would also say, for me personally, I find the vanilla flavoured bag rather than the plain unflavoured, unsweetened pack that I bought infinitely nicer and infinitely more palatable to have on a regular basis. So the final thing I'll say on my initial experience of actually making this stuff is that I realised again after blending it, hang on, why don't I get a few more of these shaker container things and then just make about 4 of them overnight, or in the evening. So then I wake up in the morning, they've been in the fridge overnight, they're nice and cold, and suddenly I've literally got all of my days eating there, just ready to go as and when I want it. And then obviously in the evening, about, I don't know, 8:30, I wash all the containers out after I've had them all during the day, and then make another batch of 4, put them in the fridge, and you're good to go. And that, it's unbelievable the amount of, the tiny amount of time, you're talking about maybe 10 minutes to do this, and that's your entire food for the day sorted. So definitely I can see the advantage of it if you're somebody who's got a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things going on. I mean, I'm certainly not somebody who hasn't got time to be actually making proper food. But I definitely, even me, appreciate not having the washing up and not having the stuff. And especially, I think, because I live on my own and I'm not like trying to make a load of food that'll go around like 5 people or a family, I find that that leads to a little bit more wastage and a little bit of stuff going out of date and that, because if I don't feel like eating it for a certain period of time, then obviously there's nobody else to eat that stuff. So it eliminates all of that stuff. And again, it's so simple and it's so easy, it's unreal. Now, one of the things I would definitely say is that in terms of the sort of my body's reaction to it, I've really had absolutely nothing. I don't know if there's a technical term for describing your body's reaction to things, but I've got to be honest, I say the only thing that I really notice is that I haven't had any sensation of like heartburn or anything repeating on me of that nature at all. I haven't had any sort of terrible side effects, but I also feel as if I haven't had like, I'm not waking up in the morning thinking, wow, I feel like I'm 21 again and I'm going to go out for a 50-mile run or anything ludicrous of that nature. But again, it's very early days, and I just wanted to share that just as a few general thoughts on the actual experience on going to it. The only thing I'd really say, I keep saying say, sorry my friends. The only thing that I would really like you to take away from this video is that I think personally that this is actually a nice little idea and it's a good sort of thing. I can easily see people in the future, like almost like a bit of a, I don't know if you'd say a Matrix type thing, where you have something like this that just fuels you through your days and through your months and what have you, so that you never have to take a break from whatever you want to do, and from whether you're out, I don't know, jet skiing around the world or something, or whether you're just sat at a desk like I am at the moment trying to finish off writing a book, and you just have this sort of stuff where you literally can just have it sat next to you, you pick it up, you drink some of it, you put it down, or you might want to try and drink a load of it in one go. I don't know if there's any benefits or negatives to those types of consuming, but I would say it definitely is nice to not have to think about that sort of stuff, and you're not sat down thinking, oh yeah, right, I'll eat this, or oh, put the oven on, and all of that sort of thing. So just in that, just from the ease of use, if you want to use that term for something like this, I would say I can easily see myself going forward for a long time, having a couple of these made up overnight and just having them throughout the day before having something proper in the evening. And then again, I'm going to cut down on the food that I buy, cut down on the wastage, and really, again, it's just something that I think is definitely giving me a more all-round diet of more vitamins and goodness knows what else, and protein and stuff like that, than what I'm currently on. And that's even if I think had one of these a day, I would probably be benefiting compared to my previous diet before Huel BH. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I know this has been a very strange, unusual video for a lot of my regular subscribers, as it's just something I thought this was actually sort of interesting, really. So until the next time, my friends, I'll do all the usual plugs. Feel free to subscribe and check out my other videos for loads more stuff in the countryside, going out exploring and just enjoying the outdoors. Feel free to add me on Facebook and Twitter, like the Facebook pages. And if you're really curious, if you're a new viewer to this channel, please do check out my Kindle books about my life when I used to live on a boat. And I've also got more recent stuff coming out any moment now. Anyway, until the next time, my friends, keep it interesting, keep it human fuel worthy, and of course, farewell.